Keith's trying to give me a tip today. He reckons there's a good thing at odds at Flemington called Hariba. What sort of odds, Keith?
Oh, about 2 to 1 on, I think. I think it probably will open 5 to 2 on, but it will win. It's well, it's a Pegasus of racing, Bruce. It's the flying horse. In fact, Hariba last start at Flemington went so fast that had he done it on a Melbourne street, he'd be booked for speeding. 67.5 kilometres an hour he was doing.
It's exciting, isn't it? And Mahogany, well, that first up record. More about that later. Max, did you notice yesterday how well the Sydney siders did down here?
Oh, yes, just a passing notice, but certainly they did do very well, and I'd like to point out it would appear that our 2-year-olds are far superior to yours.
How do you, I don't know how you come up with that one.
Well, what won the quality, the criterion quality? Zedrich, trained by Anthony Cummings.
Who was born in South Australia. The horse has never raced in New South Wales.
And, always, barrier trialled in New South Wales. Was given the foundation in New South Wales. Horse called Dona raced there too, fresh from our midweeks.
Good on you. Horse called Baryshnikov went round too. I'm not going to argue with him today. He's got me beaten. I can't beat him. No. What do you think of Baryshnikov?
He was great, and Jimmy Cassidy was great in his ride too. But it was D-Day at Flemington yesterday. Dittman and Durbridge. This is Jimmy Cassidy on Baryshnikov. We thought that it was a 3-horse race and covered Hurricane Sky and Blevik. Blevik crashed into the gate when he left. He has done himself an injury. He finished last. St Covert led, eased off the rail. That's St Covert in the pink there. And Baryshnikov, Jimmy Cassidy driving him through a gap that wasn't there at the time. Under pressure, St Covert moves away from the rail. Cassidy gets through, and there's Baryshnikov, a worthy winner of the Cadbury Australian Guineas.
He is a good horse. Did you compare St Covert with Bow Road last week, or was that me, Max? I can't remember.
No. No, I think you got the title last week. I won't repeat the title. But nevertheless, it was Jim Cassidy that won the Cadbury Australian Guineas. Very little between those horses, and it was his ride that just proved the difference between victory and defeat. I thought Hurricane Sky was magnificent, but the circumstances just went Baryshnikov's way, and Cassidy took advantage of them.
Where's Blevik?
Well, he's at the crossroads, I think, well...
Injury-wise. Will he run and go on to the autumn in Sydney, do you think?
It all depends, you know, I mean, that will take some getting over, I'd imagine. The injury that made him run so poorly yesterday, Bruce, I don't know his immediate future. Well,
you were desperate to talk about Durbridge a moment ago. He's out in front of the Blamey Stakes when we picked them up. He is a remarkable old horse. By the way, he's not a champion.
But he's a great horse.
But we're not going to go on with that with the old rough habit again, but he was very good again yesterday, wasn't he?
Well, he won the Blamey last year. Only 6 other horses have done that. The most recent, Better Loosen Up and Bow Rogue. When he gets his own way in front, he is virtually unbeatable. He was presented with the race yesterday, but he was at the crossroads. This was the run that the Freedman camp were considering retirement for Durbridge if he didn't fire. Have a look at him go. A fantastic performance from the old fellow Durbridge. Paris Lane, the more favoured stablemate. A tradesman-like effort. A finish from what might be a good horse, but not a great horse. And Tristelove, either she hasn't come up, which I favour, or she's at least a run behind this campaign. Both
Station Hand and Starstruck, I thought, were very good runs. For 2 horses that are not really weight for age, even though Station Hand ran second behind Durbridge last year. I just wonder about Paris Lane. I mean, as you said, I think it's a good assumption. Good, solid run, very good horse, but not like Jern at the moment, that's for sure. Max, Danewin was the biggest story of the day, I think, all around Australia, even eclipsing Baryshnikov and Durbridge here. What a run by this horse in the Royal Sovereign.
Yes, they were going along at a goodly tempo there, and that's Danewin in the green colours, back in about 5th or 6th place on the fence. Now, Shane Dye takes advantage of the rails run. He's being trailed a few horses back by Brave Warrior, but note, Dye takes the rails run here. Now, this is a class horse, racing over 1,200 metres. Look at the way he knuckles down to the task. But there's the Queenslander surging along the rails too. I think Danewin has got too much firepower at this stage, but you'll note that the runner-up does make up ground on Danewin, but full honours to Danewin, a good horse, a fit horse, a well-trained horse, a horse that was well-ridden and will win more races. 2 quick things.
Dan Zero, he's at the crossroads, I think, don't you?
Yeah, sure. And on Danewin, Bobby Thompson, the trainer, said last spring when Danewin was very good that the autumn would belong to him, and I think he's going to be right.
Well, long way to go yet. Jackie Shea, is he coming down to ride him?
Last reports, Jackie will be here to take over on Danewin, but of course a lot of rice has got to go through the tonsils between now and Derby time.
Well, I think oh, no, I can't say it. I think Shane Dye would like to keep the mount. Probably a few people would like him to keep it as well. Moss Rocket yesterday, he's going pretty well. I like Golden Sword's run. Now, you're not serious about sending this fellow, though, down to take on the mighty Hariba, are you, Max?
No, Moss Rocket, this race was put on for Moss Rocket. They're crawling in front. They went their first 600 and about 36 and a tick. It gave the back markers no chance whatsoever. But some of them, including Golden Sword and the white colours there, went to the line most encouragingly. A note flitter there in the black and the orange colours just coming through on the inside now. Well, the jockey dropped his whip, which obviously didn't help Flitter. Pharaoh on the outside, his run died. Deposition running on. That was Moss Rocket's race. Didn't like the way he went to the line. I wonder whether he would have pulled up okay. And as I say, the sections made the race just Moss Rockets. But certainly horses that finished behind him would beat him in a return bout.
Gee, what a change, Keith, between the spring and the autumn. In the spring, in the big race for fillies, 1,000 guineas, Danarani 2-1 favourite. Love of Mary 5-2. Yesterday, both beaten out of a place. This newcomer, Flight to Fantasy, I say newcomer, a late starter, is won most handsomely yesterday. There she is with the white blazer.
Blued the start and Di cruised up into a good position on the fence there, but there were a couple of awkward moments until Di got out. But Danarani, I think you forget that run. Arrogin ran on well but looked big, but this is the run of a real good racehorse. Now,
is she better than the other one? Better than the other Gay Waterhouse one?
Yeah, in my opinion she is. Now look at this, she's got out. Now have a look at it, charging up to the lead. Arrogin with carrying much more weight will run on encouraging it, but look at that. She's just coasting to the line.
It's been an amazing season one we're in here. Praising the performances of runners and making excuses for others, and the next week it's a different set. It's been a topsy-turvy and all the reins at the top have been very short.
Well, Hariba's might be long. He's 5-2 on today as we look ahead to the Lightning. I joked last week with you, Max, about Mahogany. I'd give him just a mad chance. I think he's too short at 9-2. He's probably an 8 or 10-1 chance, but he is brilliant first up.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly going to have my money on him. I'm not saying he's a good thing to beat the Speed Freak, but I think he'll give you a sight.
Yes, I think Mahogany will storm home and may run second, but Hariba is simply too fast for any sprinter in the land at present.
Got to leave both you gentlemen. I'd like to talk to you for half an hour. You know that, Keith, and you too, Max, next week.
OK.
See you then. Colin Jackson after this, one of the great stars of world sport.
Going like a winner. D's knocked one down. Jackson clear. Pierce coming home hard. Colin's going to win. Jackson wins. 12.91 world record.